Skyrim is reaching its 9th anniversary, and as we reach times like this, the game is still getting quite a lot of players, but isn't really generating much income for Bethesda. Unlike most titles which are riddled with microtransactions these days, Skyrim only 3 years ago, on August 29th, 2017, released the Creation Club, which is basically where modders will get paid to upload a few of their creations, and basically you'll be able to buy them for a relatively small amount of money. And Bethesda's kind of had a bit of a scheme recently to kind of help get people back into the game and possibly spending money on the Creation Club by having certain items go completely for free for a limited amount of time. These have included the Mechanical Mud Crab, the Nyx Hound, the Dwarven Mail Armor, and now most recently the Dragonscale Studded Armor. But there are some other really nice pieces in here which I'm hoping will be put on for free, like the Spell Knight Armor. But this could be a future strategy of Bethesda's to kind of generate income post-game launch with their future titles such as Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, which is the reason why I'm bringing it up mainly, as well as just to notify people that there are items which are temporarily free on Skyrim. Now, a lot of these items don't usually have that much content inside of them, especially for the value. Say things like the Arcane Archer Pack, which is equivalent to about £1.50, £1.50, depending where you're from. And this is something which you'd kind of expect to be in the game anyway, just elemental arrows. Another example would be the different kind of crossbow mechanics. I know they were kind of added to the game through the Dawnguard DLC, but surely it's just something small that you'd expect to be actually in the game for free. So could it be with when Skyrim and Starfield come out that they'll release the game and shortly after they'll release a creation kit and kind of emphasise for modders to get on to make creations that can go up there and kind of earn them some money and earn the company some money? Because the one nice thing of the Creation Club is it is paying for modders to make some content, as most people who make like some of the biggest mods in, you know, the world, they don't really get paid for it unless they've got like a Patreon, and even then there's only so much that can really earn, which wouldn't make a stable living. But this is basically a way for these games to still push out content which is safe for the game and doesn't risk it crashing or require kind of complicated install methods like some mods need to. And in previous Elder Scrolls games such as Morrowind and Oblivion, we received lots of mini DLCs, like for instance the Fighter's Stronghold, Frostcroak Spire, and a bunch of other just kind of small house mods or quest mods. But with Skyrim we only received 3 DLCs, and then we didn't receive any content for years until the Creation Club came around, excluding what modders were putting up on site, the Nexus anyway. And it's kind of nice to see that they are giving away some of these items for free as like a kind of limited time offer. But it's also a bit of a worry that when Elder Scrolls 6 comes around, they might continue to kind of release the game and then give some of these smaller kind of options like the alternative armors as fully fledged items that you'd need to pay for, when kind of slight armor variations should be something which would be in the game anyway. Now I understand, as this is nearly a 9-year-old game, it does kind of it does warrant some kind of excuse to allow you to need to pay for these slight altered armors. But I hope this isn't like a kind of dodgy practice that Bethesda leads into in the future, because it's not really the kind of microtransactions that we'd really need. I can understand, say, with certain quest mods, because they do need to make money, especially as the kind of game industry has slightly changed over the years and it takes a lot longer to push out a much bigger game. And those games which don't have any form of microtransactions in don't really have as much kind of time to make money. So we can probably obviously assume that there's going to be a few mobile games as well that they release to help them earn revenue throughout the years, because they have said in the past that for every major game they release, they also want to release a mobile game, whether that's related to one of their game franchises or not. All that I hope is that their main focus when making their next AAA games is actually in the game itself, and these sort of microtransaction, extra bits of money on the side methods are kind of thought as a kind of what else can we do, but they don't kind of prioritize that over the main game. Or what I mean by that in another way is, say for instance, they design all these quests and then go, oh, some of these are quite good. How about we just leave them behind a paywall? Because that would just be very dodgy and aggravating practices, which could kind of tarnish their company name a bit more than anyone would like to happen. But I do feel like I don't really have the best voice on everything through the Creation Club, because I've only really played the ones that I've been able to get for free. And I have looked at some reviews for the other items, especially the much bigger ones, and they do seem to be quite nice quests and very unique for what they are. It's just the issue I've seen with these kind of Creation Club items, according to the people who have purchased them, is that they are a bit too pricey for what they're worth. And I can understand this would just happen. To be honest, Horse Armor in Oblivion was a bit extortionate when that came around, and that drove up a big controversy. But due to the way that all companies are these days, something like Horse Armor, if it happened in kind of 2020, no one's really going to give that much of a crap. But back in 2006, that was just like, what the hell's Bethesda doing? They've gone mad. What is this nonsense of a small transaction in like a store? But it is actually sort of interesting to see that Horse Armor was that controversial DLC that came around in Oblivion, and the idea wasn't even considered for Skyrim, and still hasn't even been considered either just for the actual game itself or even part of the Creation Club. I am kind of curious now if someone did make a Creation Club add-on for Horse Armor, which was, say, 100 or 200 creation credits, whatever it's called, and just see how people would react to that. But I am actually really curious what your opinions are on the kind of Creation Club and how they should monetize future kind of AAA games. Whether it should be not at all, it's a single player game, just leave it how it is, or if it's actually kind of fair enough for them to do things like the Creation Club, because it's not only a way of them to earn more money, but it's also a way of kind of paying back the community who put in a lot of time and effort making their own sort of content and sharing it with other people. Or are you a bit like me, who's sort of worried that these kind of Creation Club add-ons will supersede any chance of us getting any DLCs whatsoever, and would be kind of upsetting, because the DLCs that Bethesda have made for their games are usually outstanding. I never really played any of the Fallout 4 ones, but I can say for certain that the Shivering Isles and the Dawnguard DLC are two of my favourite quest lines in all of Elder Scrolls, and it's probably some of the best and most enjoyable areas I've ever been to in a video game. So I really hope that even if they do decide to kind of lean more down a kind of microtransaction route for their next games, that they do at least still stick with what they've been good at in their previous games, and maybe just have some of the smaller items on the Creation Club be either items added in a patch later on when the game after the game's come out, or just, you know, be there when the game is released, even if it does take like an extra week or two. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's a bit of a weird one, bit of more of just a discussion, but I just hope you guys enjoy videos like this, because I would like to talk more about Oblivion, Skyrim, and other Bethesda games that they're trying to release. So if you did enjoy this, please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you next time.